Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you very much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a quick look here at Bitcoin, kind of see what's going on. We're just going to jump right into the charts, of course, because it's pretty straightforward here today. It's a pretty red day, which is pretty standard also for not only a Monday, but a Monday preceding all the news that's going to occur this week. So I'd wait until, Wednesday occurs, and then we go ahead and see what's going on next, right? So ultimately, you want to just be cautious and careful this week. It's going to be fairly bumpy. The whole last week and a half has been like that since we dumped 27% in 16 hours. But ultimately, you can see right now that the price is having trouble breaking the plane of 50,500. It's kind of a tentative resistance there, as well as the fact that, of course, 52,300 is a major Fibonacci retracement level that was essentially rejected one time already. So until we can break above 53, 52, 53,000 right in that range, then I would say that we are still considered bearish. I do feel macro more so bullish. I'm going to feel much more confident when we pass 60,000, but 53, 52,000 right in that range there would be a good solid start. So anyways, let's go ahead and take a look here at what's going on. Some of the key indicators, of course. One last thing too, not a financial advisor, just want to let you know that I love teaching people how to trade, so that's my goal here and my passion. I do this every day for work, so feel free to join my community. We actually have a trading community designed for, the ultimate goal of helping you become a better trader, more self-sufficient. I share every single trade that I take as well, so you can know how to structure your trades, but more importantly, you just learn intrinsically how to become a better trader. It all starts with a good risk tolerance and effectively just making sure that you are smart and not jumping in with emotion. Easier said than done, I know. Taking a look here at the 200-day simple moving average on the one-day chart, we can see the price has touched third day in a row. Okay, well, 3 out of the last 4 days, essentially. Very, very close the last 3 out of 4 days. So ultimately, that tells us that's working as a strong support level. I don't think it's going to matter, though, if the news is crazy here in a couple days. That's just going to just drop its bottom. But what we could see happen is, a large candle wick down, and then the one-day candlestick close back above that. That could happen as well. But I do feel if we lose 47, 48,000 as a support, then we're going to see that work as a resistance, and we might see the lower channel of 42 to 47,000 as a strong potential range in the near future. Okay, so just be mindful. There's not great. It's not a great situation right now here for Bitcoin. It's not terrible, but we are closer to 30 on the RSI once again. And that essentially, usually in most cases, leads to a bounce. But just bear in mind, 30 on the RSI is effectively right here at about 46,700, which is right where the 200-day simple moving average is. As soon as we lose that, I think it's going to be a different story. Now, again, hard to say we're going to lose that just yet. We don't truly know. No one really knows. But it is trending towards potentially breaking that support level and moving downwards, because the more often you test a support or resistance level, the more likely it is to break, right? And that's what we're going to see here soon with Bitcoin. So just ultimately, be cautious, be careful, get ready, make sure you have some money set aside for dollar cost averaging, and set some limit orders. Set some limit orders at 45,000, 42,000. You may be surprised you'll get filled. And I do the same thing with Ethereum as well, because that one is equally as good, if not better, potential coin here for the near future. So just bear that in mind, because when Ethereum takes off, that's altcoin season essentially starting. And once this fear and uncertainty and doubt starts to subside, I think Ethereum is going to take off just as well as Bitcoin will, but probably even better. So just a heads up there on that one. I'm definitely bullish on Ethereum. Regardless of that, looking at Bitcoin here on the 4-hour chart, we can see the 50-day set moving average working as a resistance. It just got tested about 12 hours in a row, and now it just got rejected essentially. And it did break above for a short while, but that was, of course, the Saturday Sunday trend here, right? This is Saturday to Sunday right here. It's very common for those to be green days, because the fact that it's just consumers like you and I adding to our position. We see the news, Bitcoin's on sale, we're going to invest in that, right? And then the whales come in Monday morning, take their profit. Happens almost every single week. There are rare occasions where Mondays are green days, but for the most part, you can expect Mondays and Fridays to be red. It's just kind of the natural way of it, especially in a bearish type of short-term trend. Okay, so ultimately, that's kind of where we're at there. We're underneath both moving averages, not great. Basically just telling us in the last 12 and a half trading days in the 4-hour chart that we are essentially below that average and it's working as a resistance, just telling us that the bears are essentially still in control. Okay, that's really what it boils down to. And good trading essentially is just making sure you know what side of the fence you're on, right? If you can identify when the bulls are in control, you're going to be profitable. And if you can identify when the bears are in control, you can be profitable just the same taking short positions. Now, I haven't taken any short positions with my community members this recent season here, because the fact that I still feel bullish on Bitcoin. It could recover very quick, very soon. But on the same accord, when there is a bear market, it's equally as lucrative, if not more lucrative, because it's a fear is a lot easier to understand and to anticipate than it is greed. I hope you understand what I mean by that, but that we're not there yet. Okay, let's just summarize here. We're not there yet, but it feels like it, right? It's hard not to identify with the the fear that's in the market right now because it's just so prevalent. But you just got to understand, there's a lot of news going on right now. These aren't things that normally happen, 4 years ago, essentially in the 4-year cycle. We didn't have the same type of ecosystem we have right now. So, things have progressed better for the better. I don't think we're going to see as strong of a dip in alt season or, when the bear market occurs, but a lot of different schools of thought there. Sorry, I'm going off the rails here. Let's just go ahead and get back on track. We're under 50 on the RSI, over 30 essentially, so that's a good sign on the 4-hour chart. So we're not in dire straits by any means here, but just note that we could very well see something similar where the RSI dips under 30 if we have another major sell-off, and that could happen in the next couple of days. So I'm just kind of trying to prepare you there for the worst. I'd much rather expect the worst and hope for the best instead of the other way around and essentially getting wrecked and have a lot of long positions open. I mean, we haven't really taken much of any trading or any trades rather in the last week and a half since Bitcoin sold off because you truly don't know what's going to happen. It's there's not a lot of certainty right now, so just please understand that. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the smaller time frames here. Look at the 1-hour chart. I'm pretty confident we're going to see very strong bearish sentiment here. So every single possible indication here on the Ichimoku cloud is telling us that the bears are in control, and that if you have a short position, you don't want to consider selling it yet. All right, and what I mean by that is first of all, we're below the cloud here, so that's step number one. That essentially implies that you'd be successful using a short position, right? The short doors are open. Therefore, if you look further, you can see we got the baseline here, and we've also got the conversion line here, right? So until the conversion line is above the baseline, that's considered a short signal, right? In other words, we have an open door still to keep our short position open. That's step number 2, essentially. The third step is to ensure that this lagging span doesn't intersect with the price action. That's essentially telling us so you can keep your position open as well. So we've got 3 out of 3 indicators here on the Ichimoku cloud basically saying that a short position is still viable. We want to leave it open to see where it goes. It doesn't necessarily mean you want to open a short position right now. It just means that if you have one open, you're going to be in good shape. Right? We don't have any signals that there's going to be a reversal anytime soon, according to what we see here. All right. So that's kind of the general concept there with the Ichimoku cloud. Looking at TD sequential, we can see we're at a 5, 6, 7 now. We could get a potential reset, but that does imply that we have at least 2 to 6 more hours worth of bearish momentum before we could potentially see a reversal back to the upside. Again, that's not foolproof, but for the most part, when you see a 7, 8, or 9, you can expect the price to kind of consolidate or turn back around, essentially. And we're almost there, so that we could be out of the woods for now, tentatively, but I still wouldn't, consider this a good, healthy position. Dollar cost average, by all means, right? Just don't take a very large position right now and expect it to jump up 5, 10%. You might get a percent or two tops, but that's, unless you're scalp trading or essentially just short-term day trading, there's really no reason to take a position right now. It's not good market conditions. There's nothing here that we see that's bullish on the short term. Very last thing we want to look at is the 15-minute chart. We'll go ahead and take a peek over at the EMA and VWAP and kind of just help quickly identify what's going on here. First of all, the volume weighted average price tells us the amount of volume in the last 24 hours expressed as a price. All right, so that's this blue line here. So if you look at just the blue line, you can see that's essentially the volume weighted average price. Right now, the price should be at 48,287, whereas the price is below that. Therefore, it's working as a resistance. So if you don't already know this, the volume tells us it provides very strong support and resistance levels. Most other traders don't really identify that with that. Maybe it's the fact that I've been day trading for a very long time and I use volume as my friend. But in this case, it's potentially the enemy, if that makes any sense, because the price is below that. So until it's back above you, it's not really considered a buy signal, right? That's implying that the bears are in control. Furthermore, we also see the bearish momentum. In other words, this red line here is the EMA 15. That's the exponential moving average 15, basically just telling us when the price is below that, the bears are also in control. It's kind of a momentous indicator, similar to the MACD, right, where you got the 12 intersecting with the 26 in an upward fashion that shifts bearish to bullish momentum. In this case here, it's kind of running concurrent with the price action. Therefore, the price being below the EMA line tells us also that the price is being held down by the bearish momentum. So these are 2 good things for a short position, but 2 terrible things for a long position because we don't have that confirmation. We want to have confirmation above both in order to take an entry essentially to the long side. What I mean by that is if we look back here, you can see this EMA VWAP indicator that I have built in here. Basically what it does, it tells us when the price is above EMA and VWAP. So if you see right here, we've got these two little yellow carrots essentially telling me that I would want to take entry here. And the main reason why isn't just because it's above EMA and VWAP, but because it's closing 2 green candlesticks above both those levels. That's what, 2 green candlesticks on the 15-minute chart, that's 30 minutes worth of bullish momentum. Right. So those are things that I use to scalp trade myself. So, had I gotten a notification right there and had this set up and I was tracking Bitcoin, I would have got a notification right at this point and I would have taken entry right here and hypothetically exited right there. Because see that purple line? That's basically telling us that it's overextended. Right. And again, that's built into this indication that I have. I share this with my community members, and I actually have instructional videos on our website for this specifically. But, that would have netted me right in the range about 1.7%. And that's a good price. That's a good amount of increase. Honestly, again, if you're leveraging as much as I typically do with the amount of capital that I use, then that's a very good indication, right? So 1%, 2% is awesome, right? So we got to celebrate the small stuff. You don't want to get so stuck on, crypto gains that are usually 10, 20, 30% at a time that you want to forget that there's a lot of money to be made in the smaller time frames. So again, that's just kind of where we're at right now. So look at the small time frame, regardless of that, we can see that we're well outside the standard deviation lines. At least we were, rather. And at this point, we're below the EMA and below the VWAP. So there's literally no good sign we have right now to take entry. If you're the kind of person that likes to risk it and buy the dip, then by all means, this might be the dip you're looking for. But I can tell you that's probably actually it's a very bad practice, because you never want to get in until you know the direction it's heading, right? And right now, the direction is still going down. Even if it comes up, it'll probably get rejected by the VWAP here soon. It's very common for the price to come up and get tested by the VWAP and get rejected. You see it happen time and time again, okay? So ultimately, just some things to look out for. These are all things I'm going to have, thorough, more in-depth analysis on. I'm going to make sure that we have some really strong videos regarding these here soon, specifically for my patrons or my community members, of course, because we are transitioning away from Patreon and we're going to a website format. It's going to be a much better user-friendly environment with some members-only content, of course. So be on the lookout for that. I'll be providing that website here soon so we can all kind of learn and grow together if you're not already part of that scenario. If you are, thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you learned a thing or two here today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.